That kind of Sunday sermon this morning, y'all. It's that kind of Sunday sermon this morning. But hello. And I know I'm about 10 minutes late, but I'm not late because everything is exactly when it should be. I'm going to put a few comments out here into the groups. Let people know that we are live this morning. And I'm a little bit late, so people have to find me. As you jump on here, though, do me a favor and say hello and tell me where you're watching from. And as always, let's drop some grateful feds in the comments below to help people find us. Love now, please. So as you jump on here, say hello. Hi. It has been good morning. Can y'all do me a favor? Good morning from Toledo, Ohio. Go ahead and do the things in the comments to help me out a little bit here. Today's going to be a tough Sunday sermon. I've been crying about it already this morning. So we're gonna get going and we're not gonna like diddle daddle around. But I do want to do a few things this morning. Good morning. So welcome. If you are new here, we do have some new folks here in the group today. So if you're new here, welcome. We're very glad to have you. My name is Tammy, and I am affectionately known as the Hometown Hippie. We are live in a couple of places this morning. We are live in the Hometown Hippie private page, which is here for the Grateful Fed members, right? We are live on YouTube. And we're also live in our Hometown Hippie business page. And I'm sorry, I'm an emotional mess this morning, but that's okay. I'm at home, right? I'm right here in our community where I am safe and I'm able to be vulnerable. And that's kind of what our topic is a little bit about today, right? We have had a really big weekend. We've had a really big couple of weeks. A lot of big things are going on right now. And I am learning to understand my intuition better, and I am learning to understand the signs of the universe better, right? We are right on track, and every time that I get in these teary emotions, it just means that I'm getting rid of energy that no longer serves. This is the way that I do that, right? And so I want to talk to Sheila Lewis is on here. So Sheila Lewis, give us a whoop whoop. Can y'all do we love you, Sheila, in the comments for me? Sheila has been working with us, helping out, doing some trim and doing some other things, and she has been a blessing. She is a workhorse, right? And she has not. It must be in the air this morning. It is. I've been like this since last night, so it's okay. But Sheila is so fun. Like she's so full of crap, and we joke and all the things. But just like me, right? We love you, Sheila, right? She can break into tears in like 0.2 seconds, right? She's like, I'm happy or upset, or just like this, right? And I got some answers to that. So Sheila, that is you getting rid of all that energy that doesn't serve you anymore. So let those tears fall, girlfriend. Let those tears fall. And so I have a really hard time. It's been interesting. The only place that I feel really comfortable doing this is like in front of y'all and in front of Rand. I do not do well with this kind of emotion usually, ever. And we're going to talk today because they are cleansing. I went out to CannaCon yesterday. I met some amazing people, right? And if you are new here, like I said, I'm Tammy. I'm a Hometown Hippie, and we do a couple of lives a week. This is our community. We are the Grateful Fed family, and part of the mission with the Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles, it is about changing the world one person at a time. And it's about sharing your story and being your authentic self and being able to go out and every day try to change the world for one other person, at least one other person, right? And I have been doing this love mission, the soul's mission. I think it's like a soul's contract or a karmic contract that I do as part of my. This is what this is what my soul was here to do in this lifetime, in this incarnation. And I share a lot of personal things, and it makes me very vulnerable, right? Because I do that in an effort to show people that if you were in the place where I was when that mess was going on before this message that I have is delivered, right? Because I always say that there's always a message in your mess. And if in your mess you do not have a message, you're still in your mess, and that's okay. It's where you are. But just keep going until you find your message, right? Just every day, just get up like, okay, my message is going to come. I'm going to get my lesson from this, right? Hello, 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 hello. I'm so glad y'all. This is a big one for me, and the audience size is making me a little nervous. I'm so glad y'all are here, but never fails, right? When you're like, I'm gonna be very vulnerable today. I'm gonna share like something very big today. Um, a very big mess that I've got a message from now. Finally, it never fails. Like everybody shares up. You're like, fuck, like I could have done this talking to nobody. But I sat outside this morning, right, and the post that I made this morning in the group here, right? It says we're not all in the same boat, right? We are not all in the same boat, but we all are in the same storm. Some of us have yachts, some of us have canoes, and some of us are drowning. So just be kind to everyone you meet and offer a helping hand. And as we walked through Comic Con yesterday, I'm Comic Con. If you call it Comic Con, like I'm like up there like cosplaying, like as I went to CanaCon yesterday, Red and I went in there yesterday, and I took some deep breaths before I went in there. I knew there was going to be a lot of energy, and as y'all know, a lot of the people in the cannabis industry or in this industry, um, I don't align all the time with their energy, right? I don't always align with all that energy. I do align, right, with myself. So I'm like, let me just get myself together. Let me get my bearings about me. Let me put my energy protections on. Let me get myself ready to walk into this arena, right? And I did. And I took my deep breaths and I was very well maintained. Like, Red, I was like, Red, I was like, I'm just going to, he's like, go do you, baby. I turned it on. I talked to everybody. Like, you would have thought I was a vendor. I really like shared the mission, the power of one. We've got 18 new people following us on TikTok that I went there immediately, added to their contacts. I've got tons of new connections on Instagram and on Facebook and in my phone. We met some amazing, amazing, amazing vendors and people. Um, I also ran by some people, and I'm like, their products are amazing, but the people that own the businesses were there, and I didn't align with their energy. I was like, I just feel their energy is weird to me. Like their energy is weird to me. I don't know how I feel about their energy. Red's like, hey, that's interesting. 'Cause I don't know if I like those people either. I'm like, interesting. I was like, so we have to figure out how we operate from a place of being able to, because here's the thing, right? And this is what today's going to be about a little bit. So, I was telling Red, I was like, he's very rigid, right? He's very rigid, and I'm kind of like way over here in La La Land. And we kind of find our center together. And I was like, he's like, well, you told me that I had to be able to handle people with purple hair. And I was like, because it doesn't matter. He's like, I know, but I was like, I get it. So you have to be nice to everybody. It doesn't matter what their hair color is. Like, I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. He's like, but my face when they had purple hair. I was like, you're fine. He gets it. We were kind of joking. But he's like, so we have to, you have to also think about being in business. I was like, but that's what I'm trying to say. He and I talked about it, right? And here's the thing. The products that you are going to find in the Hometown Hippie and the um, Heart of Virginia Hydro, Cultivation and Wellness Apothecary, um, we have agreed that they are going to be products that our family, right, our family, all of you, all of our family, that we not only believe they're a good quality product for the services that they render, but we also have to make sure that we align with their energy. And I don't know why that got me so very upset. It got me so very upset. Um, because I was like, we have to be true to our brand, and we have to, and he's like, well, what if, I was like, you know what? I was like, if this whole thing, I was like, we have, this is why we're doing this, right? This is why we are doing this. or why I'm doing this, is because, hang on, I'm trying to see this is, hang on. The reason that I'm doing this, right, is because I want to honor my integrity, right? And I said that no one ever again, no company, no boss, right, is going to tell me how, what, when, where, and why. And when I met some of the vendors, right, some of the vendors, I felt like they kind of had that feel about them, right? And not about like tell you, I just feel like their energy was not right, just not right. There's something wasn't right about it. And brand association matters. It does, Sheila. But here's the thing: the brands, the brands have a beautiful brand image, right? And the brands, some of the brands matter because they are the top branded names in some of these things. So if you are a grower of cannabis, you might really, 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 really this is like some of these things are things you would look for at a store because of the brand name, because it's kind of the top of the charts, right? And how do you tell somebody like, why are you not carrying that? I just don't like their energy because I met them. Like I was like, how do you alarm that? How do you say that, right? I got you. I got you. Their products are very good. The product that they put out, the quality of the item that we would sell is top notch. It's top notch. It really is. I just don't personally I just don't personally like the people. And I'm like, it's not fair, right? Because that's what we're going to get into today. This is what we're getting into, the alignment of it. How did they get there? Thank you very much, right? When I tell y'all all the time, like I put it in here today, right? We're not all in the same boat. We're all in the same storm. Some of us are in yachts, some of us are in canoes, and some of us are drowning, right? That is to say that you never know the whole story, right? There's always something underneath, right? And that's why I think for me, and I talk about it here all of the time about the book, The Four Agreements. The four agreements are like four principles to basically live your life, and it goes to this. And Sheila's reading it, and I hope that Selena's here. She's read it. I know a lot of y'all have read it. Tell me in the comments, have you read the book, The Four Agreements? Yes or no? Yes or no? Have you read The Four Agreements? If not, I'm going to encourage you to do that. And you're all when I get done with this sermon, it's getting ready to take a twist. I'm going to have to give a little trigger warning in a second, and I hate giving those, but I'm going to share something that is triggering to some people. So, but the four agreements, I think that. See, Sheila says, I want everyone who aligns with me to share my yacht. If we get a bigger one, I got you, right? Um, I have reading it now. Who else? Anybody else? Yes, no. It's no. It's 10 people here. Yes or no? Reading it. Yes. Reading it. No. Reading it. But the four agreements are basically four principles. I'm planning on reading it after Sheila said that's Elizabeth Clark because she said that because I think she's borrowing it after that. There's four principles basically how you live your life, and it's basically talking about how you should be impeccable with your language because the way you speak to people, including yourself, right, can be used for good or bad. So the words that you use can either be to lift up or to tear down. It's like white magic or black magic. Okay. Number two, it's saying that you should not assume anything. If you've been with your partner or your friend has known you forever and they get you a chocolate cake and they know that your favorite cake is strawberry, you go into your head and they don't love me because I know that they know what I like, right? But we're assuming that that person can read our minds and know exactly what we want. Or think about the times whenever you tell your partner or your whoever, let's don't exchange Christmas gifts. I don't want anything for Christmas this year. And then they don't buy you anything because you told them not to, and you went out and bought them things. Well, they should have known I just didn't mean that. You cause your own chaos in your life when you do that. So don't assume anything. I'm not going. This topic today is not about these, but it's about how these four things are going to help you understand the next part of this, okay? Y'all know that it all comes back around when we put we get the rug that ties the room together at the very end, and I wrap it up with the bow and tie it all up. Number three, it's like, don't take anything personally, right? If I'm running late to a meeting, it's not because I disrespect you or don't restrict your time. It's because it's all my own bullshit, right? If somebody, as the book says, right? If somebody walks up to you and shoots you in the head, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. We take everything personally because ego makes it we make it about ourselves. We are just collateral damage in somebody else's war against themselves. And that's the big one that I need y'all to remember, right? And number four, always do your best. If you operate from the place of I am doing my dead level best in this moment, I'm giving it what I have. Those last two, like we all work on our language, and Heather says, say what you mean and mean what you said, right? Say what you mean and mean what you said. And I think it's interesting. I'm bringing to put the Zen space. I love it. That's where mine's going to go to the little checkout library. But here's a trigger warning. We're going to talk about a topic that is very uncomfortable and very trigger warning for some people. There is a Netflix movie that has Mila Kunis in it, and it is called The Luckiest Girl Alive. And if you are triggered by talk of abuse, then you don't want to watch the rest of the sermon, right? Or come back when you can handle it. This has got trigger warning for sexual assault, essay, whatever you want to call it. I know you can't say these things on social media because even saying it now gets you blocked because it acts like you're perpetuating it. But there is a Netflix movie that has got Mila Kunis in it, and it's called The Luckiest Girl Alive. And I had no clue what it was about last night. And we got home from CannaCon, and Red and I sat down, and we had these conversations about aligning with energy, about meeting a lot of new people, about moving forward to getting the store together, about a lot of energy, and like we don't have to explain it. We'll figure it out, right? Everything will be as it's gonna be, is what we decided. Okay, we got a vendor that basically is like a one-stop shop vendor, like kind of like for restaurants where you have like your like US Foods or whatever. I'm gonna get back to what I was telling about, but I needed a minute. This place, this BFG, right? They will basically it's a one-stop shop, like a place that delivers all your stuff. And I like them, right? And then I'm like, well, what if I work with them and then they could stock, like whatever. But we're watching this movie last night called The Luckiest Girl Alive. And has anybody seen it? Has anybody seen the movie? Yes or no? It's been out for a while. I think it's trending number 2 of movies on Netflix today. It was a very, 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 very hard movie for me to watch last night. I am not going to go into details about my personal experience. The movie is about a young girl who goes to a private school, and you can guess some things that happen. I'm not going to give anything away, but it talks about people who have power versus people who don't. Power versus force is probably the best way that I can explain that movie. And it is a very powerful movie. And I have really struggled this morning with how I'm going to talk about this topic in a way that I feel comfortable doing it. I have shared that my experience, an experience that really shaped me as a human being, from a big piece of it's a big piece of shadow work that I'm still working on as well. I have moved the energy, but after last night, I realized that I did not move it where I needed to move it. I just pushed it down, just moved it from one space to the other, right? And I've shared this experience when I first started doing the shadow work in my Party with Tammy, my pure romance group, because I felt safe because there were just women there. I also was in a private group, and I wasn't on YouTube or I wasn't on my business page, right? Um, because I'm going to tell you something, right? Be impeccable with your language, right? Be impeccable with your language, because I'm going to tell you this. You never know. You never know who's going through what storm. You never know who's drowning. And okay. I just heard like tell the story. Shut the fuck up and tell the story. When I was 17 years old, I went to a party. I went to college at 17. My birthday's October 6th, as many of you know. And when I went away to college, I was 17 years old. I was 17 until October. So in October, I turned 18. I was a grown up, could do what I wanted to. So probably 2 weeks after, I don't know if it was even that long. It may have still been 17. I blocked that time. I don't know exactly the date. But I came home from college and decided to hang out where I had been told my entire life not to hang out. And I am not telling this story to like talk about at the school or anything like that, but as many of you know, I live in a 2 college town. I live in a town that has Longwood University, which is a co-ed liberal arts college here right in town. And then there is a very prestigious all boys school called Hampton City College that is out a little bit outside of town. Very beautiful campus, very prestigious. Lots and lots and lots of senators' sons and governors' sons and diplomats' sons and big money sons have gone to the school. A lot of probably people on this live today, some of their sons and some of their brothers and some of their husbands may have even gone to that college. And I'm not talking about every person that goes to that college. Okay. So before people start attacking me because I live in Farmville, that how that goes. I've been told by my mother. I've been told by every person that I knew not to carry your ass out there, because you know what happens to girls out there, right? Because it's our fault we went out there, right? But I went out there with two of my very best friends. The guy I dated from 8th to 12th grade, who I was my first love, and my very best guy friend in high school. My very best guy friend I thought was my protector. And y'all know how things happen, right? And things happened. And for a lot of years, I carried it around, knowing, justifying that I went out there, I drank, I flirted. It's my fault. I did this to myself. There's no reason to act this way when you knew it was going to happen, because everybody did it. I justified myself into, number one, I could not be a victim. Right? I went from being a very trusting, fun-loving teenager to being someone who started having places where energy set made me sick, right? And I look back at it now, right? And everything happens exactly as it's supposed to. And I'm not saying that was supposed to happen to me, but when I tell y'all there is a message in every mess, there is. I never, and this is like last night I sat down after this, and my husband and I've had this conversation, right? He knows what happened. He probably knows parts of what happened. He's not, I did not tell him everything. Just, nobody has to know the nitty gritty details. He knows the gist of what happened. Kind of like y'all know the gist of what happened. And after that happened, number one, I continued to binge drink. And things like that continue to kind of, looking back at it now as a grown up, that situation that happened to me at that school probably has happened to me a couple more times because I was too drunk to give consent. But because I went in with my headset was different, right? I also started doing cocaine and cannabis. And if somebody had a hydrocodone, I'd take it because, it numbed the pain. I started numbing everything with whatever I could find to numb it. And then, right, because obviously, the way that I've been treated by men and boys, let me change that, by boys, that I was only good for one thing. And if they're going to take it, you might as well just give it to them and enjoy it, right? So then you go from, some people handle it differently. And then how do you be a victim or a survivor of these things if you're out here just living your life up? You know what I mean? So I went the opposite way of some women. And this is a conversation that I've had, like I said, in private groups with women, but never in a mixed group with people who, I've never told y'all this. And I'm sorry to put this on you on a Sunday morning. And I didn't know if I was going to. I sat outside and cried and cried and cried this morning. Not sure if I was going to tell this story or not. But that movie, watch the movie. If there is a movie that has ever been made that explains the battle that a woman carries inside of her after these things happen, the half truths and the convenience and the telling people what they want to hear so that they like you because you don't know if they do or not because you've been taken advantage of so many times. But when I tell y'all that my food is as authentic as I am, this is where the imposter syndrome comes in. Right here. This is the moment in my timeline in this incarnation, right? Where the imposter syndrome comes in. Because this is one of those things that I never, in my 48 years of living, never in my life since this happened, one of the things that I swore to myself that the mess that I've lived in, right, that I've dealt with, is that, and this is where my message came in. I was like, these people that did this are never going to be this is not going to be what defines me. This is not going to be the story that I tell. I don't want to be the person that has to tell that story, how my power got taken away. I want to tell the story of how I stood in my power, how it wasn't ripped away from me, and how you can survive those things and be an amazing person. I never wanted to tell that story because this is what people do. They look at you like you're damaged. They apologize that it happened to you, right? Or, I don't know. It's just, I just hated any type of, I do not like people to like pity me in any way. Like even when my mother passed away and I was in the throes of grief, I did not like the petting and the I'm sorry. I'm like, I have learned what I have learned. And it was, let me tell y'all how I learned this. I learned this within the last 12 hours. So when I tell you that life can change in a moment, your life can be flipped upside down like this, and your life can be fixed like that. So if that's what yesterday, what is your dream in your heart? Because if you still have a breath in your body, you can still achieve it. I watched the movie last night and I just cried, right? You are not here to sacrifice your joy or life. You're here to live happy and love. Yes. But when you tell that story, because it is a hard story, when I tell this story, it's a hard story to tell. It's a very hard story to tell. It's a very hard story to tell for me to this day. I do not know how to release it was not my fault. I still see every single thing that I did not listen to my intuition. I knew my gut was going crazy, right? My gut was going crazy. It's called The Luckiest Girl Alive. It also has some gun violence trigger warning as well. Never wanted that moment to define me. I never wanted to allow it to give it any kind of power over who I was. And the more I tried to push it away and push it down, it has caused so much illness in my body. And I'm telling y'all this because somebody out there has got something they just can't get rid of. And I have got to feel all these feels because the power of one. Source said to me this morning, sitting outside as clear as I'm talking to you right now. I sat outside that's why I was late. I was still outside crying. And he said to me, she said to me, they said to me, whoever the fuck it is, it's usually my voice that I hear, and I know that it's just because I believe myself, y'all. So we all have our own ways to do it. You have to share this story. This is what's caused all the illness in your body. You're going to save somebody's life by allowing them to move this energy through before it kills them, before it cankerously cancers them out, before it kills their pancreas, before it kills their spleen, before it kills all of their organs like it did yours. Before I graduated, this is my freshman year of college, right? As soon as this stuff started happening, y'all, I had all of the organs that I do not need to live. I don't have anymore because I had kept this inside of me. I have kept this part of what happened to me, this terrible, awful, traumatic event that I want to pretend like never happened, that I don't think about all the time, that it does not run a movie loop in my head, that things trigger it, right? I can see a group of kids from that school out and they're talking crap, or they've got young girls with them, and I want to walk over there and I want to shake the shit out of them, and I get upset and I get angry, right? And I'm like, don't go over there, right? Don't do it, like don't do it. And it's not fair. They could be the nicest young men that ever walked the planet, Or I see things like the Supreme Court case where they ask that woman, like, why didn't you tell anybody? Right? Why didn't you tell anybody? Because y'all don't understand. Living in a time that we came from, it just didn't matter. It just did not matter. And you could ruin your life. And that's how they basically framed it at you, right? You can ruin your life and be labeled by, and they're going to give it a bleep, and they're going to go, that crazy girl. But listen, you had a choice, right? It's not like it plays a loop, but it sits there, right? And last night, that movie made me realize what it was. And sources like TV, that's what's been killing you. You have just been moving that piece around you. And if you have this imposter syndrome, then let's go ahead and be authentic, right? It's safe. You are safe to share this message in this group today because number one, you have to get it out. This is not sometimes the power of one. This is what the power of one is about, saving yourself, right? It's about some days it's only you that you can save. And I know that I am worth saving too, right? I have to save myself. And so number one, it's for me. And it's okay for it to be for me sometimes. Number two, somebody else out there has got some things that they're holding on to and that they don't know how to move through. And I'm not saying you have to come public with it, but you have to address it, you have to recognize it, and you have to move through it, right? Maybe some therapy, maybe some Reiki, maybe some whatever, but you got to get it out. And you got to get it out. So it took me 40 years, 30 years, 30 years. But I finally found the message in that mess, right? When you hold on to things, I assumed that I was slutty. I assumed that I asked for it, right? I told myself that I shouldn't have gone over there. I shouldn't have drank. I was not impeccable with my language to myself. I took it very personally. Like I was just a slutty, gross person who didn't matter enough for them not to just use me like a rag doll. Didn't care about my feelings, didn't care about who I was as a human being because I took it very personally. Like they did it to me, right? And so the four agreements, when I tell y'all it changed, it did because I understand how I talk to me matters, right? I didn't ask for that. It was not my fault. I didn't dress provocatively. I didn't drink too much. It was not my. It was. See, I still can't do it. The programming the world gives us, right? I still am like, I should not have gone over there. I still have a piece of me that blames me, but at least I'm okay to say I know that is not right, and we're gonna go through it, right? It can, if you still have a heartbeat, it is not too late. It is not too late to chase your dreams, and it is not too late to find the message in your mess, right? It is not too late. And if you are somebody who you see these pictures of little girls and their little homecoming dresses, and you're like, oh, it's the programming. It's not that we are slut shaming your kids. It's not that you hear these older women and women of my generation and a little older, like, I wish these girls would cover up. I want y'all to understand something. When I tell you that we are all just collateral damage in somebody else's war against ourselves, I am telling the story 30 years later, and I'm strong. I am mouthy. I am confident. I really would have had this support probably 20 years ago. So when you see grandmothers and great grandmothers complaining about the way girls are dressed and them doing this and hanging on boys, that is them projecting all of the things that they blame themselves for what happened to them. Because I'm going to tell you, it's not just me this kind of stuff happens to, it's most women. It's most women. And that makes me so sad. And it's not just most women, sometimes it can be a lot of boys too. But it happens a lot to women, right? It happens a lot to young girls. So when you see your grandmother or your great grandmother or your older aunt or whatever telling you she should put some clothes on, that's what she was told when she tried to tell her story. So before you jump down her throat about being woke, before you get pissed off about how they say it's not, maybe these boys should learn to behave, you're damn right they should. And we should be teaching our sons that it doesn't matter and we should all do, but it's not how the world works yet. Right? So what we are trying to do, and it's not about not understanding all of that. Trust me, I wish that we could all walk around butt ass naked, nobody would touch each other, we have enough respect for each other. But that's not how the world works yet, right? There's a lot of ugly, terrible things that happen in this world. And what I'm saying is that when you hear those things, because the woman that says that is something that they have told her in her past, or the thing that she blames herself for her abuse. So before you judge her, you jump down her throat and you make her a second time feeling like it's her fault that something's wrong with her. Say, I appreciate that. And I wish we didn't live in a world where that was the case. I'm allowing her, but I'm protecting her in other ways. Because that's what you have to do. We have to protect one another. You know? And it's little comments. Like you would hear like people say, like, I heard someone say there was something about that girl should have never gone over there. You cannot, and I'm like, and then like as soon as I would be brave enough to maybe tell my story to somebody, something like that would happen. Or something similar would happen to a girl and like, oh, why did she get so drunk? It was always about why she did the thing. Why she did the thing. Why did she do that thing? And it kills me. And that's why that movie last night, it took me off my feet. I didn't want to bring everybody down today. I didn't do this to get any kind of, like I said, any kind of pity party. It still bothers me. I don't know who this is, and I'm on live, and I need to do it. I can't. I cannot right now. I cannot right now with all the things. But here's the good part, right? Just having the tears for it, just speaking it out loud, just being here with all of you, I can already feel the weight of this coming off of me. I do have to process this through some more. I do have to work through this. But that's what the thing today was about, right? I might be paddling my canoe around. I'm not a yacht yet, right? I might be paddling my canoe and having a great time, right? But I might go around the cove and I might be drowning. You never know what someone is dealing with. So be kind and be of help. And that's why the power of one is so important to me. It is not about just blasting things out. It is about making genuine, honest connections with people. That is the authenticity of the power of one. It is sitting down and having a conversation. When I hear somebody message me and they have added one friend that has answered all of the questions, right? And they say, Tammy, I talked to my friend Bob about you. I told them all about this and they're going to check you out. When they tell me that, there's never a question about whether or not they've answered the questions. The people usually comment. They start acting as if they belong in the family immediately because they've gotten someone that brought them in. I got to take this. Hold on one second. Hello. Hey. Oh, maybe. I'm on live. I think so. Probably. You probably put them in there yesterday. So let me check. Where's the backpack? Hold on. Okay, baby, I love you. Okay. All right, he left his key in the shop here, so he can't put in some building materials, and it's in the thing. And he says I won't be there in time to help put it inside, but I would like to go help put it inside. Y'all, what I'm saying, and I got all discombobulated. Sometimes that probably matters, right? It probably matters. What I'm saying is that the power of one is what this is all about. It's about each of us every day being kind to ourselves and being kind to others because we never know what kind of storm somebody is in. When I talk about growing our garden and growing our group, it is for that purpose. Now, I am not going to sit here and not be authentic. Do I appreciate the fact that it supports my business? I do, because my business is important to me. The products that we present to the world, I think, make a difference. And I'm going to stand in that power as well. I put love and intention into everything that I bake. And when I was sitting outside today thinking about this last little piece of energy that's been stuck in me, right? I'm like, and this is the thing, like George was like, tell your story. You matter. You are part of the power of one. This is going to help cleanse you, and it's going to help somebody else out there. And everybody does their processing in a different way. I'm very transparent about it. And sometimes that helps me to process. And if I'm not going to apologize for that anymore because I've had to do that too. People don't want to hear your shit, Tammy. I've heard people tell me that a million times. Well, then don't listen to my shit. I mean, and that's something that this message and this piece of energy coming out of me is that's the piece of it, the unapologetic piece. What happened to me 30 years ago made me a people pleaser, apologetic person for everything, right? Because trying to get to the nitty gritty. It made me keep my circle small. I have a big, like a bunch of real, like, I like everybody, but the people that know me is little, right? Little. The people that know all the things are little. Um, Everybody knows a little bit, but the real stuff. So if you think you know a lot about me, there's a real deep shit that I've not shared that it's very hard for me to, right? Very hard for me to. Um, but I know that I have to. I know that I have to practice what I preach, right? Practice what I preach. Today's been tough for me, y'all. And I apologize that I laid all the, and see, I'm apologizing for laying all this on y'all. Because I know these talks are usually uplifting. These talks are normally about a message for the week. But this is my message today, right? There's always a message in your mess. You don't know, and I said if you don't know what the message is, you're still living in the mess. And it took me 30 years to figure out the message in this mess. And the message is, it's not my fault. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I still like my brain's going, but you went over there, you drink. So I'm processing it, right? But I did nothing wrong. I'm claiming that. I did nothing wrong. It was not my fault, right? It was not my fault. And but I'm still here, right? Every other awful, terrible thing that happened in this world, if you're one of those people, right? All those days you thought was going to take you out of this planet, right? You are still here, and you matter, and you are loved. And if nobody else has told you that today, I love you, and I mean it. And I'm talking to me as well as I'm talking to you, right? And that's why I've had to look myself in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. You matter. You are worthy. It's affirmations. And I feel like over time, I'm able to stand in that power, right? And understand that I am telling myself the truth. And this imposter syndrome needs to just go to the wayside. Go to the wayside. People that align with my energy will stay and be in my energy, and those that don't will walk away. And that's okay. And it came, and I told y'all, it comes back together. Even if you have the best product, if you don't align with the energy, it's okay. I am standing in the power. I believe that I have some of the best edibles on the market. Taste, flavor, potency, what it does, healing, all of the things, right? I believe that I have some of the best products available when it comes to edible cannabis. Period. End of story. I would go up against any other person in that arena and I would hold my own. I'm standing in that fucking power right now, and I'm not backing down from that. I've always felt control in the kitchen, and cooking has saved my life over the last 30 years. Going into that kitchen and putting all of that love, food never judges me. You eat it. You love it or you don't. It's very much, it matters to me. I show you how I love you through cooking. Because when it comes to being intimate or physical, I never know if that's love or not because of the shadow work. But I know if I feed you, that is also passion. And that is a way to judge it. So that's why feeding you all matters so much to me. That's why. But if you don't align with my energy, then I understand that you shouldn't do business with me or be here. And so when we see people come and go, I need to let go of that and understand that, right? That does not mean that they don't love it's not if they don't like my energy. That's okay. Speak what you seek till you see what you said. And I'm going to see me totally healed from this, right? Standing in my power where this is not going to bring tears anymore. But what it is these tears are cleansing. These tears are allowing room for me to bring in all of the love that I've been blocking for so many years. Because that's what I did. I've blocked my blessings because I've held on to this mess versus learning my message. And sometimes it takes a movie. It takes it. Y'all know that's how I get my little visions. And when you ask the universe to speak to you, you have to listen. And when at the end of that movie, there's symbolism. And I want y'all to, if you watch that movie, watch the closing credits. Because the closing credits has a black rose when it starts, and you watch that rose bloom into this beautiful thing. And I want to thank every person who has shared space, held space, and sent me loving energy, because it's because of each and every one of you throughout wherever you are in my life. Because if you're watching me, you could be watching me publicly right now, and I'm really comfortable with that. Like, people in my family do watch this, I'm really comfortable about that. Oh man. But I want to thank you for that, because it's because of you that I have been able to blossom. And I feel like now it's going to be the full blooming of the rose, because I've moved this energy out of my body. It's no longer serving me. I know this is the reason why I couldn't have children, because I blocked it, right? I know this is the reason why all these things have happened physically, and I feel like this is going to cure my autoimmune, right? I'm holding on to this energy and it moves around my body. You're going to see the glow up, right? You are going to see the message. You're going to see what I do with this. I've got to process this through. I've got to work with, my people to do this for me. But this was the start, right? This is how it starts. And again, I'm not encouraging you to go out and do something you're uncomfortable with. I live in front of this camera. But I want you to stop judging your grandmas and your great grandmas and your aunties and your ladies who tell your kids to get dressed. I want you to talk to them and say, hey, you know what? That sucks that that's the case. And even in today's age, right? It sucks that we still have to tell our little girls that. But what I'm telling y'all is that all it is a protection. They are just telling you, they're projecting the things that they don't think about themselves. I yell at my niece every week. She takes classes at Hampton Sydney. I have set her down and I've shared this story with her in brief pieces and parts, what I felt was appropriate, not to be, all my apologetic stuff. But don't go out there. Don't even go out there. So I told her, do not go to a party out there. Do not drink out there. Do not let them fix you a drink out there, because you don't know what they're going to put in it. Don't smoke anything out there. Do not smoke something they give you. Do not, nothing. And she's like, you're just being crazy. I'm like, oh, like I'm not. But maybe I am, because I'm projecting. I am projecting all of the things that I thought I did wrong onto her. Meredith, I've been absent these last few weeks. Things are on the verge of being very scary, and I'm fighting that and can't bring that around you guys because I love you guys so much. But Meredith, we are your family. If you need us to give you protection, please lean in. Because we don't want you to face anything scary on your own. Lean in where we can lean in. We can't do chaos and drama, but we can certainly make sure that you're protected and hold space of taking care of you and yours, right? So please allow us to do that. And that's the thing, right? Is that we are here for one another. And I'm here. I had a long convo with Angela before she left for college. Yeah. And my mom shared her abuse story with me my whole life. And when that happened to me, um, I never wanted her to know about it. And I never, ever, ever. So one thing I never told my mom about ever, I don't think she ever knew this story. She does, because she's here with me now. Because I didn't want her to have to. Her biggest thing was she always wanted to protect my sister and I from any kind of like abuse like that. She was like, we never had any kind of like family. She stopped that ancestral stuff. People that she knew in the family that maybe were touchy, we never, like, she protected us from that. She told us about it. She's like, that's a little pervert. Don't you get near him. Don't you hunt him. Don't you sit on his lap. He's disgusting. As we were little, she called him out. Don't get off his lap. My nieces and my cousins, get off his lap. He's disgusting. My mom broke that curse. So I felt like she protected me for so many years. I just went out and just like, dang it. And it was like, I felt so bad for that. It's like, and she would have been so like, ugh. So, um, I'm glad that you had that. See, I'm dealing with this, y'all. I'm still struggling. But I never wanted her to feel like she failed because she worked so hard. You know what I mean? And I am very logical. Like, girl, you let her down feeling. You let her down feeling. Yeah, I thought I let her down. Like, she protected me and, like, didn't get invited to stuff because she stood in the way of protecting me, right? Yeah. She uh she protected me for all those years for me just to go out the first time, I could do something without her watching me, and just it happened. You know what I mean? So, oh, sorry, y'all. All right, let me get my shit together. But I want to say I appreciate y'all. If you haven't seen that movie, go get it. I hear her saying, "You could have told me anything." Yeah, I could have told her anything. I could have told her anything, but I wasn't going to tell her that. Here's the real thing, right? And we all know this is a shadow work, and I'm doing it right here in front of y'all. Anything I told my mom was real. And if I told her, I had to deal with it because she would not let me not deal with it. Because she spent so many years not dealing with hers that she would have insisted that I get help. And I did not want to have, like, it made it real, right? It made it real. And I never told this story. I never told this story anywhere until my mom was gone. So that tells you that. So let me pull this week's collective card because I am way too done with this conversation today, right? So let's see what today's crystal affirmation card is and what our and see what our message for the week is as far as our crystal affirmation and what we should be doing to get ourselves prepared for the week. And exactly, and that's and here's what I'm telling y'all, right? Hi, babe. Okay. We're going to ask for the card. It's going to be our highest and best journaling prompts. We're going to be all journaling this week, right? And here we go. I'm not ready yet. This is not the card. This, my mother would have had the best. Yeah, I feel you on that. That's what I'm saying. I just knew that it was going to be like she would have burnt the whole freaking school down, and I was just like, no, no. This is a great card for us this week, though, and this is exactly what we need to all know about, and the things we need to all hear. Right? Let me go up there. I'm gonna take this off. Here we go. I'm just hiding this out. Come on now. Come on, internet. There we go. Okay. Angelite. Support is all around you. Whew. Support is all around you. Angelite or Angelite. How do you say it? I'm country. The country wasn't cool. You are not alone. Help and support are always available to you, whether through your friends, family, or guardian angels. Stay open to receiving that comforting energy. Allow others into your life. Reach out when you need your community by your side. I mean, come on now. Not all of us are comfortable asking for assistance, but trust that others want to help. And in fact, are often grateful to do so. It's okay to accept, even create the support system you need and deserve. Sorry. Even the strongest among us have moments of vulnerability. There is strength in allowing yourself to receive comfort and grow from a place of acceptance. So the next time someone extends a helping hand, take it with grace and gratitude. Core questions. When was the last time that you offered help? When was the last time you asked for help? Do you feel deserving of support? This is for me this week, y'all. I'm sorry. Like some of y'all might be getting this too, but this is for me this week. Crystal affirmation. Support is all around me. Oh, I love that one. Support is all around me. Today, practice asking for help from a friend, family member, or guardian angel, even for the smaller tasks. I got snot right on my face. I need a piece of this. I need a piece of this. Angelite. 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 I need a piece of this. Yeah, the support that we use, that's what they told me. Source said to me 2 years ago. Like, if you build it, they will come. You need to build this community. You don't have it yet, so create it. And when I read that, it was just like an affirmation of like the people that we have attracted that are here are our community. They're our support system. We're going to lean into one another. And it's 11:11 on the dot. Oh my gosh. So apparently this is the message that needed to come out today. And obviously I did not like it a one single solitary bit. This is why I give so much, because I always felt so alone in my time of ditto. Ditto. And I almost have realized, right? I've been getting these messages and I feel like some of it is people who need you and people who I have so much going on right now, y'all. And what I tend to surround myself with people who need me versus people who feed me, because it makes me feel more comfortable to be in control of the situation, is what I think. Because then I don't have to look at my own demons, because I can help everybody else with theirs. So it's way easier for me to be around people who need me versus people who feed me. But what I'm finding is the people who need me also feed me, because they appreciate, and they are going out and I see them doing the same things to others. And so I thought it was a constant cycle, but I feel just by saying this today, just in this moment, like just a sense of like my heart chakra, I can feel it opening. I can literally feel my root chakra feeling more secure and stable. I don't have this weird feeling in my like gut and my like pelvic area anymore. I feel better just saying this out loud and talking to you all today and sharing and letting you know that we're all in the same storm. We just don't know what people are paddling around. And we don't know that there's always maybe somebody drowning, and you just don't know that. And you can see somebody on the outside. And I did this post last week on my timeline when they messed up my food Monday, or this past week. We'd ordered dinner and it was messed up. And in that moment, I went to Facebook just being a bitch. I was in a mood. I was projecting all the things that have just been kind of blah, 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 blah. And, there's so much more to this. I'm not going to get into it here, but I stopped myself afterwards and I was like, like I just bashed them, and I was like, it was an honest mistake, and I'm just mad because of the way the week's going. It was just one more thing. So let me go back and say this. It was an honest mistake. They put the sauce on that I asked for no sauce on. When I called them, they were apologetic. Mistakes happen, and they were going to correct it and give me a free sandwich. It's going to be credited, whatever. Even those that need you, because it's all about this, right? You're pulling up to get pulled up, and then people here, you're pulling them back up to help you. If everybody is in simpatico about that, right? If the people who are feeding you are also getting fed, that works, right? Because I think it's all about that cycle of making sure that you're being fed and then you're feeding others, and that's kind of the cycle that I like. I'm getting information, and I'm sharing that information. That's how we raise the collective vibration. We're always pulling someone up with us, right? And so there's lots of messages in our messes, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, being in this group, being my support, and for both needing me and feeding me. I need you, and you feed me. We all have our demons that we battle, right? Some of us just do it differently. Some of us just do it differently. But don't think because someone appears on the internet for 2 hours a week, through lives or whatever, that everything is just smooth sailing, just skating through life. Everything is great, right? Because we all, where we're at is a culmination of our experiences in this world, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We talk about the young, the bold, the beautiful. They don't talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Because the good and the bad and the ugly is really what I think forms that character sometimes. And is made, I try to be kind to everyone. I try to be very aware of my situation. If people ask me why I demonize alcohol so very much and other things other than cannabis, it's because cannabis saved me from that. And why I'm doing edibles, because it's a way for me to have overnight pain relief and sleep because I don't sleep well. It's probably all a part of that energy that's been stuck, right? Hugs, love, and mental food. Yes, all the things, 10 days. And there's so much to do in 10 days. And I needed to move that probably to make room to do all the things. So thank you for allowing me to move that energy out. Thank you for being my community, being my support. Thank you for being the support to the other members of this community. Understand that where some of my crazy comes from, right? You understand where some of my crazy comes from, where some of my protective comes from. I put protection charms on everybody, right? I send out love, and those are the cords that I think that I'm holding on to. Like I put all this protection into your food, and I'm still like trying to make sure I'm taking care of everybody. But what I have to do is I have to trust and know that everybody walks their own path. I've given you the protection that you need. You can accept it when you eat it or not, and I have to cut those cords and move on. And we all have to know that there's support all around us. I'm a little later than I'd like to be, hour and 7 minutes, but today was a big one. So on that note, I'm going to get off of here and go myself out, get myself situated. Know that I love each and every one of you. Know that if you need me, I'm here. I am going to be offline for a little bit. I need a moment to kind of regroup my energy. I'm going to go and finish this bad boy, right? I'm going to go probably do a pull for myself out of these cards for like the week what I need to get done. I would, if the brand ambassador team has availability this afternoon, I would like to Zoom with the brand ambassador team. I will send y'all a message. If you're interested in being in the brand ambassador program, I'll post again about that because I want to make sure my girls in the group right now are all good to go. But we're going to talk about some social media assistance while I'm going to be gone for retreat and some new things. We are closing on this Friday at 5 o'clock. We're closed and we won't reopen until November. We'll have some things in stock. It'll be a limited menu because I'm going to be away. We're going to have the team doing some things here, but we're going to have what's in stock and we're going to be paring down. So if you want to get a munchie of the month box, get your munchie of the month box today. You need to get your order in early this week because we're going to try to wrap it up for the weekend. So if you need holiday orders, any of that, get those in ASAP. I will be running end of the month sale, not end of the month sale, but end of the month contest. I still have to do the Fall in Love with Fall contest. I'm getting there, I promise, right? It'll be later in the evening, probably around 6 or 7, probably after dinner. Let's say after dinner. On East Coast time. So on that note, I'm going to go for sure, for real right now. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for listening to all of this. I love each and every one of you. I love you so much. Everyone has a great day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes you lose the words to speak in this world because you think people don't understand, and then you turn the corner. And I love you, Meredith. I love each and every one of you. Thank y'all for being here today. I love you. Peace, love, and feast. And as always, stay elevated. I love y'all.